What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Mr. Pearl, and today I got a little something special for you today. More specifically, I'm looking at you, hunters. Alright. So, getting right into it. I don't know about you guys, but I think, hunters a little bit weakish. I mean, there's some good strand builds I've seen out there, but I wanted one that focus on threadlings and grenades because I really like that whole aspect and like what they do, and I found it pretty cool. So, guess what? I found something. Alright. So, moving on first, we'll be using the Wither Horde. That's mostly to proc the Thread of Generation. Again, that tick damage from Wither Horde is going to significantly increase the rate of your grenade energy recharging. So that's just one thing in general you should just be using just for extra grenade recharge rate. Followed by a Thread of Warding because we are going to be getting up close and personal to all the enemies today. Because why? Because of this. We are using Thread of Finality. Any finisher final blow creates threadlings. One of them. And obviously we want to buff the threadlings, so we're using threadlings travel farther and deal additional damage. Now as for the guns, I'm using Wither Horde. Like I said before in the beginning, you're doing that dot damage, which increases your grenade energy recharging. Then followed by the Unforgiven, because we are using the Volatile Flow for this season, utilizing it pretty damn well, I'd say. I mean, this Demolitionist roll is crazy. Top of Demolitionist with the Wither Horde, that grenade energy is coming back quick as fuck. Now, circular logic, we're going to be using the Keep Away and Hatchling, obviously because we're using Hatchling for the threadlings. Okay? Now, guns are done, fragments are done. Moving on to your armor pieces. First, but not least, we have the helmet. I'm going to be using the Void Weapon Final Blows because we are using the SMG again, obviously. And that will create some orbs of power for us. And as well as the Strand Weapon Final Blows because, again, LMG is going to be doing a bunch of damage and ad clearing perfectly. Followed by the Dynamo. I mean, you can use this for anything. I mean, I just put Dynamo because I am actually going to be using the Bombardiers on this class. I found it actually pretty good, and with this build specifically, you all pairs well together. I'll show you why. So, followed by the gloves, we got the Bolstering Detonation, which grants class ability energy when you cause damage to the grenade. Again, we're spamming grenades, so I want to get my class ability back so I can dodge again, which will all pair together. I'll show you in a little bit. And then the Firepower for grenades create orbs of power. So when we get these orbs of power, we get extra armor stacks on our mod, which will give us the damage resistance, as well as I'll show you on this one right here, Empowered Finisher. This one gives you multiple copies. No, not this one. Explosive Finisher. When you get 3 or more stacks, it gives you additional energy for each stack consumed. We'll get through that in a little bit. Last but not least, Impact Induction is actually insane. When I did a melee attack, it got, if there's like a good amount of enemies, it got half of my grenade back. Insane. Literally for just one of them. So, I mean, that's what I was playing around with for that one. It's doing really good. Now, we are getting up close and personal. We are finishing every enemy in the game. So, we are going to be using damage melee resistance. That's a pretty obvious there. Followed by harmonic resistance. I don't know the exact percentages of these numbers. I just know it's 1 mana, so I just used it. Followed by Font of Endurance. As you see, I'm a little lackluster in the resilience sector here. I'm at 38. A little bad, I know. But that's why I'm using Font of Endurance. If you are at 100 resilience, you could probably like use any of these other damage resistances or maybe charged up to get extra little armor slots. You know, that's a little bit more personal preference. Me, in this scenario, we're using Font of Endurance because I need that damage resistance. On a side note right here, guys, Font of Endurance is good and viable if you have a lot of enemies close next to you. If you're a little spread out and you have to move or travel, then Font of Endurance is not going to be the play. Font of Endurance, if there's a lot of enemies all close by, you can melee finish, and finish, then do Font of Endurance. But I have found out with some testing over time that you probably want to go for like AoE damage or, you know, something like maybe harmonic resistance, not Font of Endurance. I do not recommend Font of Endurance for most activities, most of them. Thank you. Yet again, guys, on a side note here today, I forgot to mention about the bombardiers, how it severs the target. It's looking about from based on some people's research, it's about a 30% damage reduction. Following that with your orb woven mail, which is about 50 to 60%. So you're looking about an 80 to 90% damage reduction alone. And then I don't know how your resilience is going to stack that on top of that. So a lot of damage reductions coming here. Yeah, onward. So the bombardiers, that's right. I'm whipping out these things this season. Whenever I dodge, they're going great. And I was just testing out something quick. This right here, stacks on stacks, is gonna be tying your build together. Okay. The reason using stacks on stacks is because if you haven't seen the special ammo unlimited finisher, it's basically doing the same concept, but just for the grenades now. So stacks on stacks, we get an extra stack on our first thing, which will be for this one. Our first empowered finisher is going to give us 2 stacks of armor charge, and our next one is going to give us that number 3. When we have that number 3, now we can rinse and repeat. Every finish will give us 3 stacks and create threadlings and give our grenades back. So we're getting grenade back, we're spawning threadling every finish, and we're getting our 3 stacks back. And on top of that, since we have Font of Endurance, it's about 10 seconds. If you're pretty good or you're quick with it, I'm pretty sure you can get finished within 10 seconds with your damage setup. I mean, I hope so. So that is how it all pairs together. And then again, melee cooldown, because we want to use that impact induction, which will again get you more grenade recharge back. And whenever we're getting grenade kills, we're getting those orbs down. So these orbs are going to be spawning so many everywhere. And I'm running double melee because I like that melee thing. I was going to actually think about using powered melee final blows grants your strand weapons unraveling rounds, because I was using the Perpetualis, which is a little lackluster in damage, but when you put that in the circular logic, it does work. So that's the invigoration on those with stacks and stacks. And I'm sure you guys want to take a look at the cloak. This is what ties everything together. This is going to be the most important part right here, is the double empowered finished and explosive finisher. And that's about it, guys. And I'll just show you a little gameplay up here of it just tearing shit up. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below. Some gameplays coming up. Other than that, have a good one. Peace. I'll show you how it all works. So you're just gonna waste my nades, right? They're gonna go home in and have aimbot. Now watch. So first, my melee. Look how much this one does. See, that's about half of your grenade back on your melee. So that'd be pretty insane. So then you do that, and then we're gonna get a kill here. Boom, grenades back. Chuck a grenade down. Going in here. These guys are, well, they're dead. Kill him a little bit, him a little bit. Finisher. Boom, your grenades back. And you just rinse and repeat. And then you always have your dodge in the background. You can optimize for, if you want maybe like more class ability energy, you could, instead of using causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown, you can do causing damage with your grenade gives you class ability energy. So then, like, for example, my scenario, I'm using the bombarders because most of the other exotics suck for Hunter right now. So I just figured this is like one of the easier ones to use, I think. And all you do is just dodge by enemies, and that's all you gotta do. So that's about it, guys. You just chain together grenade after grenade after grenade. Get that AoE damage down from that. You got the demolitionist on your SMG, preferably a void SMG, so we can be utilizing those volatile flow. And then with demolitionist, so again, we get grenades back faster and faster and faster. And yeah, that's about it. Pretty straightforward. It's